Hey Crossbridge, it's Wednesday, it's time for your SOAP update. You should be in Jeremiah chapter 27 today, and it's been very interesting over the last couple of weeks because as we've been reading in Jeremiah, there's a theme that continues to come up that I want to pull out today in chapter 27. But what's unique about 27 is it follows chapter 26, and in 26 we find that Jeremiah gets this message during the reign of King Jehoiakim. And King Jehoiakim was actually a king that only lasted about 3 months as king until he was replaced with King Zedekiah, who's being addressed here in chapter 27. Jeremiah has continued to get these messages that things are not ideal for the nation and it's coming down to the end. And King Zedekiah will be our last king ever addressed in Judah. He's the last king of Israel. And what's wild about this is Jeremiah kind of gets this message from God to go into the new king's throne room where all the ambassadors are. So now that he's king, people are coming to kind of pay homage and say, oh, we're glad you're king and all this kind of stuff. And Jeremiah has the word from the Lord to go in there with an ox yoke around his neck. And I don't know if you've ever seen an ox yoke, but they're these huge, almost like necklaces that go over the shoulder and around the back and shoulders of an ox, and you put 2 of them together so that they can't move, and it's a burden that's on them. Nothing as stylish as my awesome Night to Shine shirt that we just finished celebrating. It's not what you would walk into a throne room wearing, but he walks into this throne room and he continues to tell these ambassadors to tell the king, and he tells the king himself, you have got to submit to Babylon coming in. If you don't submit, you're basically forfeiting your life. You're giving it all up. He's going to destroy you. But you'll see over the last couple of chapters, his biggest fight, Jeremiah, has been the prophets and the priests of the Lord. It's these people who claim to know God but don't know God, who claim to have dreams and claim to have visions and claim to say, this is a word of the Lord, and it's not. And God's getting so angry, but all these people keep saying is, to the king, you will survive. You'll take over the king of Babylon, who has wiped out everyone up to this point. All of the things in the temple will stay. It will be no problem, but they've already been taken. And yet the king continues to listen to these false prophets and these priests of the Lord who know nothing about God. And every time Jeremiah speaks up, he's thrown in a cistern, he's thrown in jail, he's beaten again and again. And they tell him to shut up and go away. And I don't know about you, but as I've read this, the challenge for me has been this. Am I listening to people who only tell me what I want to hear? Am I reading scripture and trying to read what God has in here for me and only pulling out the things that make me feel good, that reinforce what I already believe, that make me comfortable? Because as I continue to read this, so much of all of these prophets and all of the stories about Jesus and these letters from Paul, all of these things make me actually more uncomfortable than comfortable because they reveal the areas of my life that I'm not quite lining up with the way that Jesus lived. And I see that Jeremiah's words are, do not listen to the false prophets who keep telling you these things. And so Crossbridge, I want to call you as your pastor into the joy of reading scripture without having an agenda of what you have to pull out. Being okay with things that are uncomfortable or uneasy. I get it. I'm reading it too. But let us not be a people who only listen to prophets and priests that tickle our ears with the things that we want to hear. But instead we cling to the words of Jesus, reinforced here so much in Jeremiah about what it means to love deeply, to submit to others, to serve them, and to honor God in all we do. Crossbridge, you're doing great in Jeremiah. I'm proud of you. Keep going. We're getting there. And I cannot wait to celebrate with you on Sunday. God bless.